Part 1. A young American poet is on his way to Volvo to visit Shantiniketan for a second time and to get back in touch with the bucolic mysticism of the folk traditions.
I wish I could write it all down. How the train darts past towns and hamlets, carrying with itself the vistas of dewy fields and glittering ponds with the heady smell of fresh harvest. It's been years since I have been to this place. My chest is pounding so hard that my heart wants to break free. What was that line? I think it was, I long for wilderness, a nature which I cannot put my foot through, woods where the wood thrush forever sings, where the hours are early morning ones, and there is dew on the grass. If not for Thoreau or Emerson or Whitman, if not for my promise of self-exploration, I would have done it just for pleasure.
Meanwhile, a baul gets up in the train, singing while playing his Ektara.
তোমার ঘরে বসত করে কয়জনা মোর জানো না তোমার ঘরে বসত করে কয়জনা একজনে সুর তোলে তেরে ও মন আরেকজনে মন্দিরাতে তান তোলে ও মন বেসুরাসুর ধরে দেখো কুঞ্জনা কুঞ্জনা ও বেসুরাসুর ধরে দেখো কুঞ্জনা কুঞ্জনা তোমার ঘরে বসত করে কয়জনা মোর জানো না তোমার ঘরে বসত করে কয়জনা
Ah, how I have missed the baul songs and the rustic tunes.
Part 2. Ektara, a student and aspiring baul who has been born and brought up in Shantiniketan, rides her bicycle towards the Vishwabharati campus. She hums a familiar baul song while pondering about how to persuade a particular baul practitioner to be her guru.
How can I get Karthik Baba to accept me as his pupil? I have been going around in circles trying to show him how worthy I can be as a pupil, and all I get is some rice and a little water while waiting under the hot June sun. Will he ever see me as a true pupil? What if I'm not qualified enough? Oh, that's it, isn't it, Kobita Di? Kobita Di?
Part 3.
Ektara sings her heart out amidst the bustling crowd, mostly consisting of tourists at Shonibared Haat in Khowai. Her clear ringing voice and heartfelt emotions mesmerize the American poet, raising questions in his inquisitive mind.
जात गलो बोले एक आजुब कद खाना जात गलो बोले एक आजुब कद खाना ব্রাহ্মণ চণ্ডাল চামর মোচি একই জলে সময় সূচি ব্রাহ্মণ চণ্ডাল চামর মোচি একই জলে সময় সূচি দেখে শুনে হয় না রুচি শুনে হয় না রুচি জমে তো কাউকেও ছাড়বে না জাত গেল বলে এ কি আজব কারখানা
She does have quite a touch of charm in that voice. I wonder if she's a bowl, but she doesn't seem to be in the traditional saffron bowl clothes.
The audience eventually grows in number. The crowd seems very invested in Ektara's performance.
Maybe I'll catch up to her after she's done.
The performance ends with the crowd applauding, singing praises for the young aspiring Baul. As they disperse, the poet approaches Ektara while humming the Lalungiti that she was singing.
That was one of the loveliest bowl voices I have come across.
Thank you. Itake, is this your first time here in Shantiniketan?
No, this is actually my second time here. I am fascinated by the bowl culture. It has intrigued me since my first visit here. I noticed that you are not clad in your usual saffron attire.
I'm afraid I haven't found a guru yet.
This is very strange. How could someone with a mystical voice like yours not find a teacher in the land of mystics?
Your view of this land as a land of mistakes, it resonates with the perception of your people. But that is a story for another day.
That is indeed a strange thing to say. What is this about the perception of my people?
Oh, it's nothing but the difference in our ideals as a whole. We have a completely different perspective on life.
I would beg to differ here. We may be different racially and culturally, but our poets have incorporated the same ideas in their poetry. The great American poets have talked about equality and body positivity as in your bowl.
Is that so? I would like to know which ideas of equality these poets talked about and who these poets are.
As a scholar of Walt Whitman, I can name innumerable pieces of poetry which propagates ideas similar to bowl. Whitman himself celebrates body, soul, and equality as seen in the poems My Body Electric. He writes,
The love of the body of man or woman, box account. The body itself, box account. That of the male is perfect, and that of the female is perfect.
I had read Whitman in my American poetry classes. Yes, Whitman definitely has celebrated the body. But have you not wondered about the othering of the marginalized people, like the act of othering them? His endorsing of racial conventions and his constant voyeuristic reaction of this image of a free white speaker. In the very same poem that you speak of, in fact, the poet speaker talks about helping the auctioneer in raising bids for an enslaved person. What were those lines? A man.
A man's body at auction. For before the war I often go to the slave mart and watch the sale. I help the auctioneer. The sloven does not half know his business.
Again, what was that poem? America. In America, he celebrates the bodies of the strong, ample, fair, enduring, capable, rich. So, even if there is a space for the marginalized, Whitman subsumes and absorbs their lives within his body of poetry.
You don't know about all his works, do you? In his poem To a Common Prostitute, he speaks for marginalized people. He tells his addressee,
Be composed, be at ease with me. I am Walt Whitman, liberal and lusty as nature. Not till the sun excludes you, Do I exclude you? Not till the waters refuse to glisten for you, and the leaves to rustle for you, do my words refuse to glisten and rustle for you.
Oh, yes, this is familiar. You see, your great poet assumes an authoritative tone with the prostitute and, in the name of equality, condescends her. He also says, "My girl, I appoint you with an appointment, and I charge you that you make preparation to be worthy to meet me." If he was vouching for equality, then why does she need his appointment to be worthy of him?
Maybe what you say is somewhat right. But are you not being too harsh on Whitman? You have to understand that he wrote a long time ago, and yet he was ahead of his time. You have to give him credit for that. And ah, I just remembered a poem of Whitman called Unfolded Out of the Folds. And there he does talk about the importance of women in our society. It goes,
A man is a great thing upon the earth and through eternity. But every jot of the greatness of man is unfolded out of woman. First, the man is shaped in the woman, he can then be shaped in himself.
Whitman, through the speaker in the poem, does imply that from the woman comes the man. He says man may be a great thing and achieves all kinds of impossible tasks, but all that is born out of the woman that created him. A man first has to be created in the woman's image, and then he can shape himself like how. And I'm taking a leap here because that's something that only literature grants us. The Christian God created man in his image, and Eve was created from Adam's rib. So it's a kind of conventionality turned on its head, don't you think? Here, the man is created from the woman and not like how Eve was created from Adam.
The song Jat Galo Bole talks about the true equality which you claim is preached by Whitman. দেখে শুনে হয় না রুচি, দেখে শুনে হয় না রুচি, জমে তো কাউকে ছাড়বে না, জাত গেল বলে eki ajob karkhana. See, do you not think these lines talk about the true sense of freedom? A society where the marginalized are not differentiated based on class, caste, ableism, and their profession.
The poet turns silent and quietly ponders over Ektara's words.
Part 4.
The poet visits the campus. The vibration and gaiety of Vishwabharati draw him towards the inner grounds of the campus. Inside the premises, the poet is greeted with a familiar tune of the Ektara.
একই ভাব বৃন্দাবনে দেখিনে ভাই ত্রিভুবনে হংস কয় সদানন্দের চরণ রেখো মাথে গো আছেন শ্যামঙ্গের অঙ্গ হেলিয়ালো আছে শ্যামঙ্গের অঙ্গ হেলিয়া ও আছে শ্যামঙ্গের অঙ্গ হেলিয়ালো আছে শ্যামঙ্গের অঙ্গ হেলিয়া.
The poet proceeds ahead and sees Ektara playing her devotional music and singing the melodious song. Finishing her song, Ektara opens her eyes and finds the familiar face of the poet, enchanted by the tune of her song.
Oh, it's you. How long have you been here?
Not very long. I was idling away my time, meditating upon what you told me the other day.
Really? That's a good exercise.
I was exploring the campus, but your voice drew me here. I stood really charmed. Can you explain the meaning to me?
So, it's about the philosophy of Dehotatto.
And what does that entail?
Well, in Baul, Ardeho is not what you study in the modern textbooks. It is an experience where we reach out to the higher reality, just how Rai and Sham in my song are happy to be together, taking pleasure in their secretive union.
Wait, I think I can see a common ground between this song and a poem by Whitman. Oneself I sing.
Of physiology from top to toe I sing. Not physiognomy alone, nor brain alone is worthy for the muse. I say the form complete is worthier far, the female equally with the male I sing.
Here too, the poet says that when body is celebrated, it should be celebrated as a whole, including its parts, functions, and expressions, and not just one's brain or features. The human body, celebrated as a whole, is much more worthy of it. Whitman equates the male and female body too, you know. Irrespective of the anatomical differences, Whitman probably notes that no gender is superior to another.
I see. You see, what you speak of is not what I meant. In Dehotatto, the one place of escape is our body, where external controlling influences do not work. You need to start from within before you can preach to the society.
That is such a deeper understanding of spiritual philosophy that is rare in today's world. Why don't the Baul share this knowledge with the world openly? It will benefit millions and millions.
লালন says, আপনি সাধন কথা না কহিও যথা তথা আপনারে তুমি আপনি হইও সাবধান. Your scientific labs and golden cages cannot catch the nuances of our higher selves. Our destination is far, far away, where the eyes cannot see and the mind is free from all limitations.
Such depth of thought you share effortlessly. Such mysticism is rare and precious back home in America. Will you take me to your guru too? To learn the elusive ways of your Baul tradition?
That you wish to find in waking dreams, you must seek in dreams deeper than words, where the body and mind reach towards God, the eternal and the endless.
Wait, I'm so confused. How do I even begin to understand your words, which are veiled behind a thousand veils? Are we awake or asleep? How do you say so much while not saying anything substantial at all?
Look, your Western sensibilities, they must be left behind. Wayward poet, we are both awake and asleep at the same time. If you see your shackles, the money machine which has entrapped you, you would cry out in pity for your own soul. Perhaps that is why you want to seek this liberation in the path of the bowls.
It seems that you know my soul much better than myself. I don't know why, but that makes me sad. That I do not know myself despite being a maker of rhymes. When I'm ecstatic, that you can show me the path to the oversoul, as Whitman calls it.
Come away. You are a seeker of truth, and you know that yourself is controlled and appropriated by others. Let us go. Go somewhere where the world's ever present control and eyes won't be able to reach us. Come away.
You lead the way.
Poet and Ektara walk out of the campus.
Part 5.
Ektara and the poet walk along the bank of the Khowai River, relaxed in the lap of nature, untouched by crowds of rural artists with their plethora of handicrafts and tourists for the day.
May I know your name? We have conversed quite a bit now.
Ektara.
Melodious, just like the songs you sing. Well,
What does it mean?
What does it mean? The true companion of the bowl in her eternal search.
My name is
মিলন হবে কতদিনে মিলন হবে কতদিনে আমার মনের মানুষের সঙ্গে আমার মনের মানুষের সঙ্গে মিলন হবে কতদিনে মিলন হবে কতদিনে আমার মনের মানুষের সঙ্গে আমার মনের মানুষের সঙ্গে
Ektara walks away, the song growing louder in her mind, while the poet keeps calling her by her name, but his voice gets muffled, fading away from her consciousness.